Yeah. How overall do you guys kind of feel, for you personally, goaltending with the season? Do you feel like you made the improvements that you wanted to? Did you kind of make the goals that you set coming into the season for yourself?
It's still, we have a lot of time to think about it. So, these last couple of days here after the season, you're not really worrying about those issues too much. But we got an evaluation from Jimmy, and we're gonna, go to dinner and talk about the year and kind of let everything digest. So, it's been crazy ups and downs this season, from injuries to getting a chance to play with Marty Brodeur and an all-star game, and just everything, and you have to put everything into perspective, and there's obviously hasn't been enough time to do that yet.
On that Marty Brodeur comment, what was kind of the best advice he gave you throughout the year, and how did you and Jake kind of use him as a resource even after he left the roster and moved up to the front office? How were those conversations like? How did he help you during the second half of the season?
Again, that's like something you kind of have to think back to and let things soak in. It's the little intrinsic things that you don't really know you're learning before you actually are. You're not really thinking about it at the time, but just with the wealth of knowledge he has and all the experience he's had, just being around a guy like that, it kind of just soaks in.
Would he normally volunteer that information, or did you kind of have to ask him for it? Was it?
It's a little bit of both. It's a weird position for him to be in, obviously, too, because you want to go out there and play your own game, and too much information can be a bad thing too. So when so many people are throwing something into your game, and he knows that and respects it, so it's not like he was trying to put everything on us.
Was this the most difficult postseason you've had to go through?
I don't know. Again, it's kind of too early to really put into words what it is all about. So, it's not easy when you play all year and then you're just sitting on the bench, and you don't really feel like you can make a difference, and just try to be a positive influence on the bench, and it's always tough for anybody when you're kind of on the outside looking in.
Did you feel like you had played well enough down the stretch to maintain your spot and keep the job?
Again, like, I haven't really delved into all the issues as of yet, and all my feelings as of yet. It's kind of early right now, so I'll kind of go back through the memories and the feelings, and Jake was playing well, so it's a coach's decision. Like I said before, you can control what you can, and I obviously couldn't at that point, so no use worrying about it. Just do what you can and be ready for a chance.
Is there I know it's early, but is there at some point a question or an answer you need to hear from them about how they see things long term?
Yeah, that's for them to get back to me. Today was not a day for question and answers as far as everybody's concerned, but I'm sure things will communication will happen soon.
And maybe I shouldn't have asked during the season, during the playoffs, but now that it's over, in your mind, does it affect you here moving forward, the decision that they made in the playoffs, or can you put it past you? How do you...
What do you mean?
Just in terms of what they did at the end of the season, does that affect, in your mind, coming back and playing?
I have a contract for 2 more years, so, that's what I'm here for. So it's way too early to think about stuff like that.
Overall, the sense kind of as the series progressed, did you feel that the roster felt like they were in this the whole time, that they had the confidence that they could take this to a Game 7, or how did you kind of gauge the temperature of the locker room at that point?
It's always hard when you're watching everything go down. You don't always feel like you're in the moments with the other guys, because you're not in the battles and you're not exuding that energy with each other, kind of, like we always say, in the foxhole together, and you are, but you aren't. So it's hard to experience what everybody was feeling and everything like that. So for me, I was just trying to be a positive guy, and I definitely believed we could win the series, and I don't think anybody in the room would tell you any different, but that's where I was at. Yeah.
Did you say anything to Jake in the first intermission of Game 5 after he gave up that game-tying goal? Try and keep him up, or you just let him be?
I mean, you usually let everybody be, but I just said, keep going, kid. And it's right after he made a series of probably 3 or 4 great saves that could have been 4-0 after the first. So he responded really well from that.
Was it pretty impressive, the growth that he made this year, Jake?
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised by it, because I know him as a person and as a goalie, and trained with him in the summertime too, and I saw what he came into camp with. So he was definitely determined and ready to make that step to the NHL, and he's going to be a great goalie in the future.
And do you think what he went through in the playoffs will be beneficial to him in the long run? Do you think something like that can help a goalie?
For sure. It's the experience is everything. That's why the pressures you feel, especially in the playoffs, in a building like is really loud and everybody's chanting the goalie's name. You have to go through those little things, and your mind is so tricky. I mean, it's funny how it can go astray, and in different situations and different pressures that kind of push it in different ways, and your job as a goalie is to just focus that energy and keep it the same, and without going through those things, you'll never know what that feeling is all about. So it's any kind of playoff experience is huge.
Brian, how surprised were you when you were told that you wouldn't be starting in the playoffs, or did you expect that even before you were officially told?
I mean, I wasn't getting the starts going down the stretch, obviously, and then I got the last one against Minnesota, and I felt I played. I felt really good after that game, and really confident. And then then it's not up to you. I did everything I could, and then it's a coach's decision. So, and obviously, you want to be in the foxhole with everybody. So it's obviously tough news when you don't get that news.
Are you at a place in your career where you would still be comfortable with something of a timeshare, or do you think you're at a point where your contract would indicate also that to be the dominant goalie in a situation of whoever you're playing with?
I mean, that's a tough question. I think the NHL is kind of in a trend of changing right now, that you got to rely on a couple guys to do the job, and I think you've seen that in the playoffs a lot for a lot of teams, and throughout the seasons, that it's almost come down to with injuries, a lot of teams are using 3 or 4 guys, and there's so much good talent out there that a lot of goalies can win a game on any given night. It's just kind of, I think, how you manage a tandem and throughout the year, and make sure everybody has energy going into the postseason.
Do you guys anticipate a lot of changes just to the roster?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I can't even speculate about it. So it's when we've had the lack of success this last 4 years that I've been here in the playoffs. It's you always you look at any TV broadcast or read any articles, and people are saying that there's going to be changes coming, and but then again, that's been said a lot, and you can't always throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to realize that we did win the Central Division considered the toughest, in the league, and it's not by accident.